Guys, what's up? Jacob here with Tabletop Misfits, doing our show 201. Here with Greg, um, Greg Leatherman. As we get to with my lovely co-host tonight, Sam, classic Sam. Uh, we get to interview. Uh, we get to interview you. So usually we do this in three parts. The first one is going to be me and Sam getting to ask you questions and whatnot, and we will move on to the monster for the night after our first 30 minutes. And then the last one, it will be open up for the chat to be able to ask any questions that they have.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Uh, So
This is
my
your
first
show.
question,
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm
because
not
of
gonna
part of the
bogart
stuff,
anything
is
because
on
my
your.
inclination is to like start saying things. So go for it.
I believe in you. Do it. Uh, but you have Pokemon Master, I believe, on your Instagram, and
Yes.
then finding out that you actually have an RPG that's coming out. What inspired you to actually make another one off of Pokemon? Because I only know of one other one.
Okay, so what prompted me to make Doma Sky Tamers, which is basically a sanded, the serial number sanded off, and my own version, my own creatures, my own universe, my own world. What inspired me to make it is that I hate all other versions of people attempting to recreate the monster collecting, taming experience.
Mhm.
I find so many of them are overly complicated and are like trying to get into the nitty gritty of the battling system, and none of them have the sort of spirit or the things that I love about that series. I've been a fan of the series ever since it came out. I'm old, so it came out when I was an adult. So I've been playing since they arrived in '98, and I've always wanted to have a game that was more simple to play, uh, that was felt more streamlined, that sort of got to the heart of the various aspects that I like, which is like raising the monsters with you, finding them in the wild, having them have unique styles and looks and fitting in the environment. I wanted to sort of change the world. I wanted to do my own lore building. So it kind of all came together as a I've always wanted to sort of have one, and I never really had a good idea, and then I sort of struck on just like a dice system, a die pool system that I felt this really does. It gives you the essence of what it's like to play the games without bogging you down into a lot of really nitpicky
Mm.
weirdness.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what was your process when it came to like creating the games? Because a lot of the times, like sometimes, like you said, you didn't like the way the other games were being done. But was there a process that you had other than not liking the other? I mean, like let's be real. Let's be like, did you like, okay, I don't like this, but this is how I'm gonna do. Like, what was that realization for you?
So most of the games I've created is because there's either something it doesn't fit what I think should exist out there. Like all my games where there are offerings, I don't think they work particularly well. So when I was coming up with Doma Sky Tamers, I was really like, I want something that can give that that has that game feel, that is a lot more balanced between both your. So I kind of started with like, I want you as a character, as the tamer, to feel as important as the monsters do.
Okay.
I needed some way to sort of balance the idea that you are in a partnership, that you are working together. And a lot of games sort of like either really, really, really focus on you as the player, and they're sort of like a tool that exists in the world. They're just like, in a lot of the games, is like, how is this monster functionally different than a sword or a
Mhm.
bow and arrow. Like it is just a tool and can be swapped out. Like there's not a lot of personality there. And you can't really do a lot with them. Like
Right.
some of them are really hard coded. Some of them try to slime it into, the D20 system and weird classes. And it's like none of that felt right. So
Mm.
I struggled with what system would feel better and would give us being the player and the GM sort of the feeling of these monsters are in partnership. And that's what I sort of came upon the idea of the dice pool system. A lot of games use dice pool. Like I did not invest I did not invent dice pooling. But what it does is you take dice from your character sheet. You also take dice from your monster sheet. And so you two are forming together sort of this is the pool of dice that I'm putting together my character and the creatures that I'm working with. And together we're sort of we're making the roll together to see if we succeed as a team or not.
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah. I love that. So that makes me think of one of the first things that I learned from my brother playing actually Pokemon games. Because I would play it and not name any of the guys or anything else, and it really, I wouldn't say I wasn't invested in the story, but my brother goes, "Well, why don't you try like naming your guys?"
Mm-hmm.
And when I started doing that, it opened up like this whole new thing because I was like, uh, I liked Rurouni Kenshin, so I named my Bulbasaur Kenshin. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
so what does Kenshin do whenever
Yeah.
like he's not like fighting with me or anything else? What does he do? And it turned into this whole big long thing because my brother would actually write fan fictions and stuff about
Oh,
his.
okay.
Love it.
And I was just like, it really invested me in my team more because I was like, well, what do they do when they're not around me?
Right.
So it made it pretty fun. So I like that's in your game, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah, I
mhm.
mean, like if you play the actual video games, your character, you don't have stats. You don't have
Right.
anything in the actual games yourself. You are just a kind of a nothing burger. You are the person that walks around, and then you're making decisions in the moment. But really, there's no stats on yourself. There's no way that you can improve or affect the world. So that was one of the things I'm like. At its heart, it's still a role playing game. You need to be able to connect with you as a person
Right.
in the world making decisions. So you also need to have a set of skills, a set of things that you desire. You have to have your own goals, where you came from, the people that you know. All of these things will play into you as a character and also become parts of how you build your dice pool.
Awesome. Awesome. So as you were building the game and doing all these different things, I mean, you've designed games before. Glitter Heart, super popular. I've played it. I love it. Um, what is the most difficult part of your process when you're doing this?
So overall the games, it's really coming up with the details in the game
Mhm.
that allow people to feel like they have a lot of choices.
Right.
So Mystery Business is incredibly simple, right? Like it is the most simple game I've ever made. There's not a ton of you kind of make your character, and it's really designed to be you get in, approach it, you make a character in literally 2 minutes, and then you play out a mystery. Like it's super friendly. But for both Dumbest Sky Tamers and for Glitter Hearts, so for Glitter Hearts, since I don't like playbooks, I really hate playbooks, and I don't like classes either.
Mhm.
I'm pretty. One of my things about playbooks and about classes like D&D classes is that at its heart, you kind of know when somebody says, I'm playing a fighter,
Yeah.
you kind of always know what that is. Like,
Mm.
there's not a lot of variation in fighter. It's like,
Mhm.
do you either hit better or do you help people hit better through battle mastery dice? Like, there's just
Right.
not a lot of flavor there. And so for Glitter Hearts and for Doma Sky Tamers, I really wanted to be like, you make your own character feel the way that you do. So when I was making Glitter Hearts, I had to come up with, I think I created 150 moves
Oh, wow.
for that game because I really wanted the choices that people made feel like I'm making a unique choice for this person, and I really wanted to also have people feel like, oh, we both chose the same everyday identity, but the moves that I picked make us feel so much different, and all
Mhm.
the other choices I made make us feel so different. So the way I always say for Glitter Hearts, if you look at Sailor Moon, they're all warriors. They all really just fight. And so if you're going to create the Sailor Moon team, if they have one thing in common, everything else around them has to feel different because they all
Right.
feel like unique, special characters that have their special moves. And so I needed to recreate that in Glitter Hearts. The tough part for Doma Sky Tamers wasn't so much like I know what everybody's skills should be, I kind of know what their stats are. I need to make 100 monsters, and after about 20, I was like, "Well, I'm out of ideas." I made 20, and I also have to come up with names
Right.
for them, and then I also have to come up with all of the attacks for them. So I have 13 types. So there's certain elemental types that they all fall into, and then I made 10 moves
Mm-mm.
for each of those types, so that you can have that sense of, oh well, my Domuskai knows these moves, which
Mm-mm.
makes them unique, and these are the choices that I've made. And so I could always, once I've struck upon the dice system that I want to use, which is always the second hardest part. So my whole thing about designing a game is if you don't know what your game is supposed to do, then you don't know what rules you need to make.
Ooh,
And so
okay.
once I know what I want my game to do, then I have to sort of search through all of the games I've played, all of my experiences with games to come upon what is the right dice system that supports what I want this game to do.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm. Okay. So when you started making games, like people who start something always obviously there are mistakes, there are obstacles you have to like get over. Like what was some of the first obstacles that you had to like overcome when you first started creating games and first started writing these things?
Knowing when to stop.
Oh. Oh.
So
Knowing when to stop.
my thing that I always tell people, and the thing that I had to get into my head is at some point I'm just rearranging the furniture in a room.
Right.
If I'm at the point where I'm rearranging the furniture in the room, the game is done. There is
Hmm.
no configuration that is going to make it better. There is no, if I'm not taking a sofa out and replacing it with two chairs at that point, if
Hmm.
if all the furniture is in the room and I'm like, I think that would be better on the west wall. We're done. We're done. We're done.
Right.
We have to be done. At some point, it has to be done. I had to understand, especially with us, there is no perfection.
Hmm.
Perfect is the death of progress.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
It just has to be done.
Right.
Um, and that was a tough thing. Like I can write forever. I
Hmm.
could sit on a thing and and ponder it and rip it apart and put it back together again. But at some point, I just need to say it's done. It's as good as I'm going to make it.
Right.
I need to give it away. I need to just put it out in the world. And the people who like it will like it, and the people who hate it will hate it. And that
Yeah.
doesn't have
Yep.
anything. I no longer have a say in that. I think the other thing that was really difficult when I released Glitter Hearts was hearing the game in other people's hands where I'm not there to be like, oh,
Oh.
but okay. And just be like, this is now your tool set. I don't have a say in how I think it should be run. I don't have a say about how you're making your decisions. I don't have a say about how you, what choices you make. It's no longer me. It giving up the ownership of a thing and being like, this is
Oh
no
yeah.
longer mine.
Mm.
I don't have control over where this goes anymore.
Hmm.
I want it to go to people who enjoy it. I want it the people who to play it, to love it, to be like, this was great. This filled the need. And luckily it has. It's got a decent audience and it does well and I'm happy
Hmm.
with it. But it was really tough to get feedback, both positive and negative, when I first put the game out. Because there
Okay.
are people who really, really loved it, and they were talking about things. And I'm like, oh, that's not what I meant. That's not how I wanted
That's not like, don't play it like that.
do it like that. But then I also realized, like, oh, no, 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 no. How I do this there's never a role playing game that I've played that I haven't said, I hate this rule. I'm never touching it again.
Right.
This is a dumb part of your game. I don't know why you wrote this. And so if I feel that way about every game I've ever played, everybody else gets to feel that way about my stuff too.
Right. Right.
I put out what I was going to put out. And like I had conversations with people like, well, how do you handle negative reviews?
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's their opinion. I can't change the game anymore.
Right.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this off of that, because instead of handling negative reviews, how do you handle feedback and criticism, especially if the game is in the Kickstarter phase, where you can still kind of sort of change it? Like, how do you handle that?
I don't put a game out unless I've play tested it with a bunch of people and also had people who aren't me
Mhm.
play test it. So when I first wrote Doma Sky Tamers and my first giving it to other people, the very first thing they came back to me and said was, this game is too hard.
Really?
This game is way too hard.
Ugh.
All we did was fail all night. And I'm like,
Wow.
On paper, it works great.
Right.
Let me go back. And I had to sort of get back into the philosophy of what happens. Because I had this dice system down so that like 55% of the time you could succeed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not what people want from beginner characters of an RPG.
Yeah.
Success is 70%. And that they feel like, that was still kind of a tough. I
Right.
still failed a lot. And I had to get it through my brain like, yeah, on paper, I've rolled it 100 times.
Mhm.
But you're not rolling 100 times in a game system. You're rolling
Right.
10. And
Yeah.
it's very likely that all 10 of those, the way I had first written it, all 10 of those were failures. And that's a miserable night.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
an unfun experience. Even if I got it fine down, so 5 times they succeeded and 5 times they failed, they still felt like I can't do anything.
Mhm. Mhm.
I am
Yeah.
being held back. So I had to really go back and rethink, like, okay, what is actual success? And it's the ugly part of designing games is you have to interact with math.
Oof.
Yeah.
You
Oh.
do need to understand
true.
the math so that you understand the psychological
I feel attacked.
stuff. Yeah. I mean, I would never design for 5th edition because
Right.
the math is so tight
Yes.
and you cannot muck around with it too much.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there who want to be vibe designers and like, I'm making a character class that just the vibes are great for 5e. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't work because you
Yeah.
don't know the math.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you've broken the game, either making it super super easy, which is fine, or impossible, which is
Right.
not fine.
Which is not fun.
Yeah.
Which is not fun. So then, what's a common like trap or mistake that you see new game developers fall into?
Trying to come up with a rule for every situation they can think of.
Huh.
I could see that.
That is part of rearranging the furniture in your room. When
Mhm.
you're like, oh, but this case out here might happen, and so I need to compensate for that. No, you don't. That's why a GM exists.
Right.
That's why your players exist. Give them the structure and make sure that the structure works for 95% of the things you want them to do.
Mm.
And understand why that structure works. Like, I see a bunch of games who copy game systems but don't understand why the game system works.
Mhm.
Like, why Powered by the Apocalypse works well and why it doesn't work well in something like, say, Daggerheart, which I think part of their design. They have a design problem in that game.
Oh, really?
Because they don't understand why it worked over here and why copying it over here and changing one part of it makes it not work.
That honestly makes a lot of sense. Because one thing that I try and do with all the different ones that the games that I'm starting to learn or something like that is whenever I'm talking to somebody about it, I try and relate it to another game that they may know or something that they've played. And there are some cases like that, that one little thing got tweaked and it just breaks the entire thing where you're like,
it doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
Right.
Yep.
But having the knowledge of those other ones, you can kind of like rotate it in and go, well, this is here, but what if I tweak it just a little bit where it fixes that? So
right.
I mean, I hate Powered by the Apocalypse's help system. Spoiler alert, I hate almost every game's help system. For a collaborative game, storytelling game, where you are working with your other characters, why do you make it next to impossible or worthless to help those other people at the table? And I'm so tired of designers saying, well, it makes my game too easy. Oh no, working with other people at the table makes it easier? That's the point of working in a team. It drives me bananas. But so one of the first things I broke and ripped apart was the help system for Glitter Hearts. I just like, there's only two, Empowered by the Apocalypse, there's only ever two reasons to help somebody. If you rolled a 6 or if you rolled a 9. Every other time it's useless.
Yeah.
If it doesn't push you up a level, don't do it. For D&D, why would I give you advantage and skip my turn? I also want to roll a die. And it's probably better that I roll a die than you rolling 2. Like, there's so little reason to help that other person.
Right.
And there's a lot talk about the weird sort of bioessential individualism that's baked into a lot of philosophy for game design that drives me nuts. But those things of like you need to understand why it works and why it doesn't work, so that when you break it, you understand why you broke it and the outcome of breaking it. So in me breaking, I changed the help system so that no matter what you do in Glitter Hearts, when you help somebody, they get a PowerPoint and they can use that later as a resource. Like, helping is always useful to help a person. Even if you don't change their die roll, you are building up that bond of friendship that can be used later. And one of my favorite things that always happens when people play Glitter Hearts the first time is they never help each other because no game tells them to. Then they face the big monster that can only be defeated by a team attack, and they all have that first anime episode realization of, we have to work together as a team. And then I've watched every table scramble to figure out in the last 10 minutes, how can I help you? What do we do?
That didn't happen. That didn't happen in my Glitter Hearts game. My Glitter Hearts game was like, oh, there's a help thing? I'm helped. Like, within like 10 minutes, we realized, like, I think we need to get through the door. I'm gonna help you get through. Like, it was weird. Yeah. Like, it was a very odd game.
That's the reason why the help action's the first move in Glitter Hearts. When you get to the basic moves. It's like, this is the most important thing of this game, and you need to be doing this.
I love that.
I'm gonna have to pick that up too.
Glitter Hearts is fun. Glitter Hearts is fun. I had a great time playing.
I've had another conversation about this, and I love how some of our other games are going in where, unlike D&D, where they're like, hey, you have to work together automatically because you know each other. And I like some of those other games. So like one of the other ones that kind of does that is one that I'm running right now is Kids on Bikes. And I have so many players that are helpful, but the other thing that I enjoy out of that is when they fail, that's when they get like the reward of something. So I may have somebody go, there's somebody falling out of a tree. I want to try and catch him. And they may fail. And I go, even though you did this and you get your adversity token or whatever, and I'll have like something like you got a sprained ankle for like a couple scenes or something like that. But you still got to save this person from them taking a lot of storyline damage or things like that. So I love how you're saying that Glitterheart and some of these other ones actually have that already into it. So
All of my games, one of the first things I always make sure, do I have a workable, usable, fun help system?
yeah,
Can people help each other? Because if they don't, then I need to go back to the drawing board and figure out how they can help each other.
So, like, what themes do you find yourself like repeatedly using or exploring in your works?
Gosh, so many of my things are capitalism is the biggest evil. That is a referring
Japan anime and capitalism. There you go.
Capitalism is not great.
Yeah.
My big thing about pretty much in all of my games, the biggest one that I always come back to is teamwork. We need a different way of interacting with people than sort of what we have in the world. And the world is very much especially in America, the individual is king.
Yeah.
The individual makes decisions. The individual's actions. And so many games are that weird individualism idea. So my games, I really focus on how are you as a team? So Glitterhearts, how are you as a superhero team? How do you work together as a team? For Mystery Business, how do you solve mysteries together? When you break up to go your separate ways, who do you like going with? Who do you not like going with? And there's different rules for if you go with the person you always spend time with versus the people that you don't spend time with. And for Domus Kai Tamers, it was really, what is the team between you and the monster, you and your friends who are traveling with you? What do you give and take to each other? So I really do try to focus on the idea of you have your individual things that you contribute to a team. And the team and supporting each other is the important part of pretty much all of my games. Working together, finding out how to work together. Those are the things that I visit in my games a lot.
So you said you don't like playbooks, but do you like modules, and do you plan on doing any modules for your games?
So Domus Kai Tamers does have a module. It has an adventure book. The sort of idea in my head is that after the core rule book is out and the first region is out, that I would continue to create new regions with new monsters that would have an adventure tied to them. I don't like designing adventures because that's not how I play role-playing games. I don't feel comfortable prescribing how you should move through the world. You can just take what I've given you and you figure out how you want to move through the world. I feel that there's some level of me saying, this is the right way to do this. This is the right order. I will make them, like I did it for Domus Kai Tamers. It's 2 books. It's the core rule book and the adventure book. There's a 10 adventure storyline that you can go through. So I understand the necessity for it. I just don't like doing it.
I don't want to.
I'm bad at it because when I wrote the adventure book and sent it off, they kind of came back and like, you actually kind of need to put anything more in here. This is like a list of names and characters. I'm like, yeah, what more do you need?
Like you need to write.
You need to, tell people why they're here. I'm like, I don't know why they're there.
They showed up one day.
They can say why they're there. They're like, no, actually, this needs to be like an adventure. Like, fine, I will write a story. I don't enjoy doing that very much.
Okay.
But I know how to do it. Like I know how to structure a story. I don't like using pre-published adventures. I don't find them useful to me. Like if you just give me a plot summary of what the adventure's about, I'm good. I'll make everything else up. I will do everything else. I don't need more than a paragraph.
Right.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Like I don't want to.
No, and That completely sounds just like a setting book where you'd say, yeah, these are like opponents that you may find in this region, and here's what the region kind of looks like, and
I love that.
things like that. And then just you guys figure out the rest. What do you want to do? Are they bad guys or good guys?
Yeah, you play in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just giving you tools. You tell the story that you want to tell with the tools provided. But you know, there's a business for it, and there's a reason to have them.
There's a reason. There's a business for it, and
Yeah.
I'm supposed to comply.
I will comply with it. I'm not happy about it.
Like, please don't. Okay, fine.
Yeah, fine, I'll do it.
So I want to ask this of as a game developer and what you've observed of other game developers. Does a big ego help or hurt game developers coming into the industry?
Ego does not help. A sense of self,
Mhm.
a strong sense of self, that helps, and that is different than ego. So you need to be solid in yourself so that when people give you real, true, honest feedback,
Mhm.
you can be like, I get it. I get that. But either I get what you're saying, but that's not the game that I'm making.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or I get what you're saying, and yeah, I did that bad. I'll fix it.
Mm.
Ego stops all of that from happening. If you go in with a big ego and you're like, well, I've made this great game, and you're just too dumb to understand why I wrote it this way, that doesn't help you. It doesn't help the product. It doesn't help the people. You need to be able to be strong in your vision and say, this is the game that I made. This is how I want the game to play.
Mhm.
And sort your feedback based off of, does it fit with what I want to do? Yes or no. And if yes, okay, how do I do that? A big ego is never going to help you there.
Right. Right.
It's
Right.
just not.
It's gonna make it feel like also I think it's off putting for the people that you're pitching to. They're gonna be like, okay, you clearly don't
Yeah.
need me.
Yeah. It's hard to get negative feedback. Like, it's
Right.
not fun to be like, oh, this thing that I spent 6 months writing, these parts are bad. Like,
Right.
being told when I first did Doma Sky Tamers, like, your game is too hard. And I'm like, what do you mean? The math is perfect. How dare you?
The math is perfect.
And then I was like, okay, wait, okay. Let's understand what
Right.
you're telling me, which is they aren't having fun. That is not the goal of a game. The goal is to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if I'm standing in the way of people having a good time because I wrote a system that is just fundamentally hard, then I'm not matching. Now, this is to say there are games like horror games where the theme and the mood is one of failure.
Right.
So making a hard game supports what I want to do with that game. Like, okay, I should not have a shot at fighting these monsters because this is a horror game.
Right.
So it should be incredibly difficult for me to do these things.
Mm.
Then the difficulty matches the theme and the point of the game. My game was not like you should not be able to do anything in this world. It's like you are working through the world together with your partner, and you're making changes. And when the feedback comes in, like, we can't do anything. Okay, got it. Like,
Got it.
No,
Got
that's not what I want to say with this game. I need to fix it.
Did you have any times when you were playtesting either one of these that, like, on the fly, you were like, mental note, this needs to be changed because this does not work?
Oh yeah, yep. A lot of times in the first playtests where I'm like, that's not how that's supposed to go.
Like, whoops.
No.
Like, oops. So then, how did you then integrate and incorporate that feedback or that perception? Like, oh, that's not good. Like, how did you integrate that into the next iteration of the
Yeah, so usually when something in a playtest, that I'm running, if something's not working, I'm like, okay, let's stop. Stop right here because this isn't working. This isn't supposed to be the way that it is. Let me quick jot this down and let me think of just a quick tweak I can do now to see if it fixes it. And let's roll back and see if it fixes it. And sometimes it's like, nope, this is fundamentally broken. We're going to just keep going to see if we can get through the other things. But like this part is a big red X that I need to go back and fix. And I have a group of people that I adore who help me run games. And they are my people who I know they will do everything in their power to break the game.
Oh yeah.
They will do everything they can to come up with a way to break it. And if they can't break it, I'm good.
It's a win for you.
It's a win for me. But if they do break it, and then I think, did that break in a good way?
Right.
Is that fine? Or did they break it in a way that just brought everything to an absolute halt?
Oh,
And then I have to fix it.
right. Oh, that's okay. Thanks for breaking my game.
I mean, I bring it to them specifically to be like, this is your time to shine.
Right.
It's not work. And yeah, at one point, when I was playtesting with them for Domeskai Tamers, there was a part where they were attempting to do something that is a much like you should be much more advanced in the game before you ever try this aspect of it. I kind of thought they would be like, oh, we'll deal with it and then we'll run. And they're like, no, we're gonna press on and we're gonna do this. And when they succeeded, the cheer that they gave of we did it, we actually pulled together and made this happen. I was like, I will never forget that moment because that was the moment when I knew that game was right.
Right.
Yeah.
That cheer, that sense of relief, that buildup of frustration of them not being able to do a thing, understanding that they are too low level, like they, we just started from scratch, and then actually being able to come up with a way to succeed. I was like, yep, that did what I want this game to do.
Right.
And now I know that I'm done.
So, keeping with the same thread, and we are just a little over our time on a monster, but keeping with our talk that's going on, I really want to know what, and you'll have to describe it for us because it may not be out in the world, but what is your favorite Domeskai that is like you're all like, if you became a trainer in this world,
oh yeah,
you would want this starter?
Oh, my the grass starter, the one that I designed.
Okay.
The final version, Rose Baron, is a grass is my plant fairy type. I really love the design that the artist came up with. It's the first one that I actually designed in my head for the game. It's the one I adore. It's out there. You can find the artwork on my stuff. It's part of it was part of the run up to the Kickstarter. But it is that is the one that will always be on my team. Like I do really, really like the idea I had for it. I like the design that came out of it with the artist. I like just my whole sense of how it came into being. It's just I love that one. There's a lot that I designed that I'm like, when I was thinking of like, okay, so if I was gonna get down to my team of 5, what would I pick? I have a tough time picking what my 5 would be. Because I'm like, okay, but I really like this one. Okay, but then I really like this one, and how am I going to swap them out? And what am I going to choose? And so that to me also is when I've shown people the artwork. What I also like is it's fascinating to me to see what people are drawn to. They're like, oh, I really love this one, and I'm like, huh, really? Okay, great. It's not my favorite. But I love that you love it.
Right.
So yeah, that's Rose Baron is the one that I have official artwork that I had a person do of me and Rose Baron in character artwork. You can see it on my Instagram. I believe I have it up there. But yeah, that's one that I'm like, this is mine. And everybody who sees the artwork is like, oh yeah, that's yours. We can tell you, we know that that's your favorite.
Right. I love that. Now I know you said there's a second half of this show. I don't know what that is.
So there's 3 parts. So the original one of that, before we kind of segued into Rose Baron, is like, what is your what's a creature that you love, and it's actually so that we can give other people out in the world different ways to use it. Um, so, like for example, like the one I had last week was a gelatinous cube,
Hmm.
and it was if you made the gelatinous cube clear and you put it inside of like somebody's drinking glass and they ended up drinking that, like what are other ways that you can use that creature for events that somebody may run or a game or something in a creative way.
Yeah. I had trouble coming up with there's two that are sort of opposite ends of each other.
Uh-huh.
I do love low level characters running into a Tarrasque.
Okay.
I do love in one of my campaigns, I actually had a tamed Tarrasque where a group of orcs lived on its back, was in a
Oh, goodness.
symbiotic relationship with this thing, which they had created this relationship with as a way to defend their homeland. It would travel around. They were in a relationship with it, but it's also this huge, imposing, devastating creature that they had to sort of figure out, how do I approach this group of people who are on the back of this thing without having to deal with a thing that will ruin the world,
Mm-hmm.
and also deal with them so that they won't turn it on us. Like there's something about having the Godzilla factor. Like you're not going to defeat Godzilla.
Right.
Right.
What are you going to do with Godzilla? What? And there's so much because they're so huge.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, there's just a group of the people that have the information you need live on the back of a devastating creature, force of nature.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make them mad and don't make it mad. What are you going to do? Go. The one that I love a lot, that I play with a lot, are fairy dragons. I love fairy dragons so much because they're fun as pets. They're fun as easy foils.
Mm-hmm.
They're fun as tricksters. They have abilities that allow them to do a lot of things. I will also add in things like they are technically dragons, so they can probably technically polymorph. So the cat that's staring at you might actually not be a cat. It might be this thing that's trying to get something from you. I don't like having intelligent creatures be killable monsters if I can avoid it.
Okay.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of you've run into a goblin village and now wipe them all out because they're in your way and they're just goblins. Like, they have a language, they have a culture, they have all of these things. So I don't like having monsters that are intelligent thinking things as just a thing for people to get XP from.
Right. Right.
And like fairy dragons are the cute little dragons that are a pain in your butt. They're that trickster. There's that thing that annoys you that you kind of want to kill, but also it's a cute innocent creature and maybe you shouldn't. It's kind of like a morality test built
Right.
into an annoying creature. Like you wouldn't a street urchin that pickpockets you and plays a trick on you, ties your shoes together. Your first instinct isn't to like, well, I'm going to just stab the street urchin
Right.
because they played a trick on me. And I find it very interesting to give people that same dilemma. It is a creature. It is a trickster, and it does have intelligence. It doesn't look like you.
So, have you ever read Monsters Know What They're Doing?
Yes.
Okay. That's exactly what that concept kind of sounds like.
Yeah.
That's usually what I try and do because I'm like, unless it's something that like is an undead or something like that, that it could be controlled or whatever. That's kind of how I try and play my characters and stuff now. Like, they get down to a certain thing and the creature's just gonna turn around and run away. Like there's no reason for it to try and stay there. unless this is it to fight is its best option.
Right.
And you know, I think that's what really has also gotten a lot of cool stories out is when a creature runs away and the party goes, you know what? I'm not going to go after that goblin. I'm not going to go after that fairy dragon.
Yeah.
And then secretly it knows, because like we talked about with intelligence, it starts going, well, what if these people come back?
Right.
And with goblins, they're like, we're going to go find all those other stupid orc or goblin bands and bring them together. That way we can all work together and do this stuff. Or something else like that. So now when the party does come back, then it's like, oh shit, we should have taken care of this thing or went and found it when we got the chance.
I mean, I think a lot of people fall into the trap of they believe it's fight or flight as the only two options. And there's actually four.
Yeah.
There's actually four.
There's actually four. Fight, flight, fawn, and freeze.
Okay.
Fawn and freeze are completely optional. Like if you come up, a heavily armed war party comes up to a goblin village of poor people, why would they not choose a fawn action? Why would they not be like, you are so much more powerful than us? Also, if we're on your good side, you may protect us. But everybody gets locked into the fight or flight mode because we were taught that was the only two options. You either fight for your life or you run away. It's like, no, there's a lot more things that go on there. And those are other options to take. And I think that's also just sort of growing as a GM to be like, is fighting the only option here?
Yeah.
Did I set this up as an XP churn? And if I did, then why did I pick these characters to be the XP churn? Wouldn't it have been better to make them ancient constructs or undead or something that does not have what we would typically call free will? And then also, if you do pick a fight option, why are they fighting? Like, are these people invading their homeland?
Yeah.
That's a thing. Like, if somebody came into my house and was like, hey, nice TV, I think I'll take it. I don't know where you got this from, but it's mine now. I'd be like, okay, it's on. Like, you're stealing from me.
So we're going to fight now.
Yeah, we're going to fight. You've given me no choice because you've invaded my home and you're taking my things.
Yeah, that's a no.
That's a no.
Oh my
and
gosh.
like, you can play in that space of, the common thing is, but the goblins have been raiding the nearby villages and stealing and causing havoc. Okay, why?
Yeah.
What were they doing?
What's
the dynamic there? Are they hungry? Are they defending their land because this village moved in and took over part of it and took over the only well that was in the area? Like, what are the motivations going on here? Because
you're giving me some great ideas for this.
Like,
I want like a modern setting with an old grandma goblin that breaks into your house, and to answer the question why she's dementia.
Right.
She's got dementia, and she breaks in and she goes, I just wanted to bring you cookies, and she's got a plate of French
why are you chasing me?
I mean,
why are you so mad?
There are, like, I won't disregard the idea because sometimes bad people exist and they're just monsters and they don't need to have a good reason.
Right.
Like, I push back against this new wave of the villain has to have complex reasoning and a deep, painful backstory to be villainous. No, they don't. Look at Elon Musk. He's fine. He's just a complete
dick.
He's just a complete horrible person.
Yeah.
For being a complete horrible person. Like, sometimes people are just monsters.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but understand that why you're making that choice. Like, if there is a wizard at the top of the tower who's just like, no, I just want to turn people into undead, and I don't care if they started living. I will kill them and turn them undead because I find that's fun. That's a fine motivation. Just make that motivation clear.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the same concept for people who play rogues and certain things. And like, they always have like this tragic backstory that their parents died or their family, whatever. I'm like, so Why can't they be a bored rich kid that had nothing better to do?
Oh, or also
True.
on paper, an adventurer is easy to get into
Hmm.
and can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
What? Why would you maybe not see that as a career option? Like, oh, I am good with swinging a sword. I need a job. I do this for the money because this is my job. This is
Yeah.
how I get paid. I don't need to have a dead sister in the background that I need to avenge.
Yeah.
No,
No.
I need a job.
Yeah. Literally, a lot of my characters who play these type of characters, like where I play these type of characters, like she was about to be betrothed, so she didn't want to do that, so she decided to leave.
Yeah.
Or her parents gave her everything, and she wanted something else to do. That's it.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
bored or
She's bored.
needed a job or this was the best use of their skills
Yeah.
or I mean,
She
it's not
went.
to
She
say
went to school for fighting. So
yeah,
duh.
she trained for this. Uh it's not to say like the tragic backstory does it can have its place.
Mhm.
But it shouldn't always have its
Right.
place.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it shouldn't like we want to build in trauma
Hmm.
because we feel trauma is more interesting. And
Yes.
I'm going to argue always, I always push back. You don't A, understand trauma,
Right.
and B, a person's trauma isn't necessarily interesting at the table if you don't know what you're doing with that
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Also, here's the other thing. I tend to want to make my GMs work for everything. So if my backstory is like she just wants to, they're gonna be like, well, what's her motivation? That's her motivation.
Yeah.
She just wanted to be a fighter. She just wanted to be a rogue. She just wanted to steal shit. That's it. No reason.
Yeah.
And they're like, well,
Yeah.
fuck Sam.
Like,
Hey.
tell me what you need from me to like what are you trying like I always say like what are you
Yeah.
trying to get do you need plot hooks, do you need npcs? Like I can create an entire school of people that I went to class with. I can create the person in my school that we didn't get along, we had
Right.
philosophy disagreements, and sure, okay, maybe that person's out for me, maybe they're angry or jealous or whatever. Like I don't have to have had them kill somebody in my family. It could be I met them, they were super rude to me, and I will never speak to them again. And
Yeah.
every time I see
Yeah.
them, it's on.
Yeah.
I hate you. I don't forgive you. You gave me this slight. You looked at me funny in a party, and guess what? Every chance I get, I'm turning you into a frog. This is your life now.
Hey, and that works. I mean, another one that I've really started liking too, especially after I got to watch the show Delicious in Dungeon, is just you want to try all the monsters out there, like
Yeah. Delicious in Dungeons is so good. Love that anime.
you're just like, oh, that's a thing over there. Let's kill that so I
Yeah.
can try it and see what it tastes like.
Hang on.
Can we make it taste good? Yeah, and I fully agree. Like if somebody goes, yeah, I need some trauma, they were raised on the streets, they didn't have a lot of food, and somebody gave them unicorn meat one time, and now they're like, oh my god, this is what my new life's ambition is to try every monster in the world. It's got to be better than the bread I was getting before.
Right.
I'm gonna eat all the monsters.
All monsters.
I'm going to try all of them.
Like, oh, it's a lich. I haven't tasted
I
lich
haven't
yet.
tasted this yet. Tastes like dust.
Right. Or to add that concept that you gave us earlier, to have the Tarask with the goblins on it, he's like, never had Tarask.
Never had to ask.
How do I
Hag
get
is
that?
so gamey.
It's really gamey.
That's so strange. I love that. I love that. So, when you find yourself GMing your games, what is your expectation of your players?
The expectation I have of my players is to explore the world, ask questions, and figure out what they want to do in the world. I need to know why you're here.
Right.
Everybody is here for a reason, and even if the answer can be, I don't know why I'm here in the world, so I'm going out to find a reason. I'm wandering the world to figure out what I want to do. Great. Then I could throw you into a million situations where it's like, do you want to be a wizard? No, that didn't work out. You were at a wizard tower and you met a guy and it just didn't click. So that's not what you want to do. Okay, moving on. Do you want to be a fighter? Do you want to do you want to be an explorer? Like, even having no motivation gives us so many options of like, okay, great. Then you don't know what you want. So we're gonna just throw you into a million things to be like, figure it out.
Yeah,
What do you want?
makes something stick.
Make something stick.
Which I mean, that would be a fun concept, like we're talking about. Is if you had one player that's like, I just wanted to be isekai'd into the world, and
Yep.
do you want to get out, or do you care? I don't think I want to leave yet. Okay,
I don't
we're
know yet.
exploring the world.
Right. We'll explore the world.
Yeah.
I mean, humans, we all have so many different reasons for the things that we do.
Mm.
And when we get into character situations, particularly in fantasy, we lock into the I need to just fight the big bad, and that is my purpose in life. Because even though you didn't say I'm the chosen, I've decided I'm the chosen. And that's, there's spots for that, but
Mhm.
also there's so many different ways to do that. It's one of the reasons why I pretty much start every fantasy game I start them in a tavern. Because, like,
Okay.
you're in a third place. Why are you there? Are you hanging out? Are you meeting friends? Like, starting them in a social situation always tells me, who are you when you have to interact with the world?
Mm.
And now with that
Really?
information, what do I do to throw you out of that comfort setting? Because if
See,
you're in a tavern,
yeah.
you're there for a reason, to be comfortable, to pass time, because you're bored. Why are you in a social situation? Like, if the person's like, I'm in the corner reading a book, okay, well, you could do that at home. So why are you in the tavern? Oh, you just want people around you to help you focus, to do whatever. Cool. I now know so much about your character because of the choice you chose in a public social situation.
Mm.
Person's like, I'm going to go hit on the waitress. Okay, well, you're a skis ball. Now I know that about you. I'm just going to sit on the bar and talk to the bartender. Okay, you need people to talk to. You like forming connections with people who feel safe because you didn't pick anybody else in the room to talk to. You went to the one person that's like required
busy.
to be nice to you.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that you learn about characters in how they interact in a social situation.
So I've had this happen to me where it kind of threw the party off a little because a lot of people who play TTRPGs are expected to start in a tavern or some type of social situation like that. And I had a GM that put us in a line in a bookstore.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Bookstore.
Like, you're in line in a bookstore, and all of us is like, what?
Is
What
it
do you do?
is it modern day? Was it in a fantasy setting?
It doesn't matter. Why are we in line at a bookstore?
Oh,
Like, why?
that to my brain fires off a million reasons about I'm going to learn about why you're in the bookstore. Because you answer like, are you there because one of you really wants a book from here? Okay, great. One of you wants to be in this line. Why are the rest of you waiting there? Are you there because you want to support your friend? Are you there because you're kind of interested in the book? Are you there because you have nothing better to do and you just want to be with your friend and you don't really care if you come or go? Are you there because that person doesn't want to be alone and waiting for an hour? Like, there's again so many things to ask players about why your character
So
is in
rude.
a line.
I just got in the line because there was a line.
Some people like that. I don't know, there's a line. Maybe there's something cool at the end.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a line, so I got in
There
it.
was a line, so I just got in the line. Like, oh my god, like
Adventure.
I mean,
like,
it's also like, if you know exactly what your plot line is going to be and who these characters are, like, it's fine to also throw them straight into a battle. Like, you're in a dungeon, you've come upon a bunch of undead. Let's get into fights immediately, because there is also a way to catch people in the immediate action that's also viable. But that only generally happens if I've already had a conversation about who these people are. And
Right.
I just find that conversation easier if we are in game. Because I think it's really hard for people, especially if you're not an actor, if you haven't been trained as an actor, to figure out from paper into role playing who this character is.
Yeah.
It's really hard to figure out who their personality is. Like, you may have written a backstory, but like that backstory isn't really real. You haven't connected with it necessarily.
Hmm.
And so putting them into situations where we're starting in some sort of social interactive way helps them figure out, who actually am I? Because I'm asking you the question of, why are you here and who are you talking to? And it makes them think about, well, who would I talk to in here? And that helps inform them of, who am I playing? Oh, okay. Whereas going straight into a fight, a lot of games, the fights are so mechanical
Yeah.
that there is no character happening in that mechanical fight because the complexity of the fight takes over. And that's
Yeah.
not, to me, necessarily an interesting place to start.
So
Well,
in your Glitter Hearts game, the combat is very role play heavy combat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and I love it. Like it's
Yeah.
like you just say I'm gonna do the thing, and
Yep.
it's very real. Was that on purpose or was
Yes.
that something? Okay.
Yep. Powered by the Apocalypse, which is the basis of the system that I use for Glitter Hearts, is very much what we call a narration forward game, meaning there are moves and they will help you call your character, but tell me what you want to do first, and then we'll figure out how it works. There's some move or something that's going to cover how this happens.
Hmm.
And fighting is, it doesn't matter the flavor of the weapon or the attack, it's still just a fight. It is
Right.
still me trying to do harm to something else. And it's much more interesting to talk about everything that goes around. Like, I have a bow and arrow, so I'm going to go up to this rooftop and find this thing. And then the roll is the same, but you sort of have to explain to me, because since the GM doesn't roll, the GM for Powered by the Apocalypse games just says the consequences of what happens with your action. So you need to tell me where you are and what you're doing, so then I can narrate the appropriate fitting consequence. And that is sort of how that's the heart of that game. You tell me the story and what you want to do. The dice tell us whether it's succeeded or not and what level of success. And then I tell you, based off of where everything you told me, what are the consequences of what happened. It's Powered by the Apocalypse is very much a conversation-based game. You have to have a conversation about it. Whereas if you look at like D&D, D&D is a dice-based game.
Right.
Everybody's like, I'm going
Yes.
to roll persuasion. I'm going to roll to attack. I'm going to roll to hide. I'm going to roll to sneak. Pretty much everybody in a highly complicated game like that thinks of the role they can make and the reason to make that role after. That's a really common thing I run into with all those games. I want to get there and I'm good at stealth, so I'm going to sneak. Great.
Right.
Whereas a more narrative game like Glitter Hearts is very much like, the moves are generic. You tell me what you're trying to do, because I need to know what's happening so that we're building this world together. It's just a very different play style. It's not better or worse. It's just, how do we interact with the rule system and how do we interact with how we are playing that game together?
Okay.
No, most def. That that really reminds me of my campaign that I actually just got done playing in, because I was trying to learn the system, which was when I played Monster of the Week, which, you know, uh, now I got to be a tamer in a Monster of the Week game. That's what I got to do now. That's the next step, right?
It's the next step.
But yeah, I mean, that what you said on like a weapon is a weapon, basically, like no matter the situation, you're still making attack. Like that makes a lot of sense, and it doesn't matter what flavor text you put to it. you're just making the roll to do that, and so
Mhm.
you can make it appear to be
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like there's more games that fit that kind of like set with a more theory of the mind thing that allows for more cooler things, because a lot of people nowadays do watch anime, they do cover things like that, to have a certain thing or play it out and describe it in this way where they're like, that's exactly how I imagined it from this show I watched.
Yeah.
That's exactly how, because D&D, while yes, it does have its place, is very clunky when it comes to stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, you hit this guy with your mace? Cool. Did you make it look pizzazzy at all? Nope.
I mean, you can,
Just,
but it
you
doesn't
can.
do anything.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't
Right.
affect the world. Like,
Yeah.
you can describe, I run across and jump on the table and flip up to the chandelier and swing and jump over. Great. Make me an acrobatics check.
Yeah.
And one of the issues with D&D, it's a pass-fail system.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Like, it's a yes or no. It's a binary. And the binary is fine. But the binary also stops. So I feel like it does stop people's creativity, because it doesn't matter how well you described it.
Right.
It's a pass-fail.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
Which
pass.
is why when I'm running a game, they're doing something and they're about to tell me this fantastic thing. I'm like, wait, before you tell me, I need you to roll me acrobatics check, and then
Yeah.
then I go, tell me what a 2 looks like.
Yeah. Well, and that's
Yeah.
part of the problem with a more complicated game like D&D.
Yeah.
Is it really is okay. It's either a yes or a no. We might as well understand if it's a yes or a no before we narrate what's going to happen, because your narration before doesn't change whether it's a yes or no.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen.
Right.
It's also the same thing that I say, like, people don't like persuasion checks, and I'm like, persuasion checks aren't for the player. Persuasion checks are for the GM.
Mm.
You need to understand that the GM is the one that the persuasion check is for, because players will know who you are and they know what arguments work on you.
Yep.
And I find so many GMs who are like, oh, that was a great speech, we're not going to roll. And I'm like, that's a great speech that worked on you. This NPC is a different person.
Yeah.
So
That was a
roll.
great speech, but
They
your
don't buy
NPC is looking at you like she wants to eat your face off.
Yeah.
You need to roll. Like,
Like, you need to roll, and it failed. And then I, as the DM, need to figure out why that failed. Like, why did this long speech you give me didn't work and affect this person?
right.
Do you ever like twist that a little bit? You pervert the role a little bit, whatever they did. I've done that sometimes where like
Sometimes.
they had a persuasion check and I was like, you persuaded them, but it was too good.
Yeah.
Now this thing goes, I think your face would be really tasty. So
But,
you've just you persuaded them into so good that they were like, well, you went from being this thing that I didn't want anything to do with, that would kind of give you this, but you rolled super good that they go, oh, not only that, you look like a tasty morsel.
I look at it like a real world thing, because if they're doing this persuasive thing in the real world, if you are too charming, too persuasive, people look at you with suspicion.
Yeah.
They kind of go, I feel like you're about to manipulate me. I'm gonna shoot your face off. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, there's a wide variety of people who exist in the world. There are people who don't trust, like, you look too good, I don't trust, automatically don't trust you. And I think that's also on the GM, which is why I said the rules are for the GM, is you need to figure out at what level is this person? Do they are they attracted to you? Are they repulsed by you? Or are you neutral to them? Because what that role means, it's going to shift that one way or the other. So if a person is already attracted to you and you roll super high on your persuasion, what does that look like when they were already into you and now you've charmed the pants off of them?
Right.
What does that do to that person? And if a person hates you and you've charmed the pants off of them, they don't automatically love you.
right.
They're now like, okay, I can tolerate your presence.
Or they're if they already hate you and you've done this great charming thing, like, I still hate you.
Yeah.
We
and
can
I
work together
hate
this time.
that this is like somehow working on me. So I'm gonna do this thing, but it's gonna
But
be a
yeah,
trap. Um,
I hate you, but but you made a good point. So I will do this for you, but it doesn't change how I feel about
Yeah.
you.
yeah,
Like,
and
oh
somewhere
no,
along the
the
line, I'm
worst.
probably
Yeah,
gonna betray you. But okay.
yeah, the worst person in the world can still make a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I try to I try to do that and also listen exactly what like the player is saying.
Mhm.
Because if they go, yeah, there's like a group of frat guys, and they go, I want to charm this guy, that's the leader. Okay, they do really good. They've charmed him and everything, and maybe he's like, yeah, I'll do whatever you kind of want. But you also forget there's a group of people standing behind him that like his number two is like, dude, we can't do anything with these people. I
right,
don't know
right.
what
Right.
you know rose colored glasses they put on you, but so
Yeah,
I'll do it in that instance of what they actually say. If they go, I want this person, or are you trying to do the whole group?
Right.
And their role has less effect depending on what it makes, if you're trying to charm just one
yeah,
or you trying to charm a whole group of people.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel that in most magic societies who know that charm spells exist, I do feel that charm spells would be immediately outlawed because
Yeah.
removing a person's free will
Oh yeah.
is like horrific. And everybody
Yes.
treats like charm like, oh, it's this cute little thing. I'm like, okay,
And
this
now,
person magically removed your free will. That should probably be a crime.
Yeah.
right.
You committed a crime. You like I do feel like in a lot of my fantasy games, I'm like, you can charm that person. You better make sure that nobody sees you, and you better make sure that they don't remember that you just did this because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
removed their free will, and you made them do something. That sucks.
Yeah.
Because if I
Yeah.
did that to you, you'd be pissed.
Right. Right.
So I do feel like people don't sort of take the ramifications of spells.
So let me ask you this question,
Yeah.
and it's about printing a little bit.
Okay.
As you get closer to the end of the Kickstarter, what are the pros and cons of like print on demand versus bulk printing? Because you said that you're trying to get it for Gen Con. So what are the pros and cons of either doing we print as we go or full bulk printed to carry it with?
So print on demand allows you to not keep stock somewhere.
Right.
You pay a little bit more money because they are printing it per order and they have to switch the machines out and load up a new machine, and if it's just a one-off they have to sort of do that one thing. So it tends to cost a little bit more. I mean, I will say, having done a lot of searching and research on it, like drive through RPG's print on demand service is super. It's a good enough quality at a really good
Yeah.
price that it
Yeah.
makes sense. Like if you are a small creator and you are just trying to sell them as you can, print on demand saves you from having to pay upfront costs.
Mm.
Mhm, mhm.
If you do a bulk order, you will get it for much cheaper. But
Okay.
you don't recoup your money until
Until you
you've
sell.
sold X amount of copies. So if I order 100 copies of a game, which I have to do for Indie Press Revolution, I have to pay like $500 up front to ship it to them. And then I don't make my money back until enough copies have sold to recoup that $500.
Yeah.
And if they don't ever sell, I've just spent $500 for landfill.
Right.
So if you don't have a distribution partner, if you don't have a way that can get it out into stores to get your stuff out of your house and into people's hands, you are just paying to have boxes of product sitting in your home that you're hoping to get rid of at some point.
Right.
That said, it is much cheaper to do a bulk order. The problem is anything under 1,000 copies, you are not going to get a deal on.
Oh
There's
wow.
no
Really?
there's no publisher out there that sees anything under 1,000 copies as a not a print on demand run, because they, if you're making so few copies, it's so expensive for them to switch that out, to tie up their
Mhm.
printers for the amount of time that they're going to do that. They don't really give you much of a discount on that. And so you really do need to order a lot of copies to start seeing your first discount. Uh,
Right, right. Wow.
so, for example, I'm working with Japanime Games. They're handling all the printing costs and everything for Doma Sky Tamers. They are working with the companies in China that,
Mhm.
handle all things. It's super cheap. They can order, they have a warehouse and they have a distribution system. And so they're placing the order that they're going to place. It's going to be a lot more than I could place because they'll probably get like 3,000 copies. I could not store that in my home. I
Right,
wouldn't know what to
right.
do with that, nor could I get it out to people. So
Hmm.
for them, they have a business practice where they're placing large orders, they're setting up things, so they get a really good discount on those things. It's much cheaper for them to do bulk orders. They also have warehouses and places to store it and ways to get it out to people. So it makes sense for them to do that. For me, as a tiny, tiny person, when I started with Glitter Hearts, I didn't. It was all print on demand, and then Japanime Games bought the distribution rights for physical copies. So they
Mhm.
just place orders as they need them, and I just get my royalty check when things.
Yay.
And they handle it. They handle it. They take care of it. But printing is not cheap unless you're printing a lot of them.
Right,
Um,
right.
and America isn't the place to do that. It's just not. It's just very much, we don't have the infrastructure to print
Right.
large orders here. There are places that do it, and they are a bit more expensive. And you are also fighting against every book publisher in America
Mhm.
that's also
Mhm.
using them. So you need to be able to say, I'm ordering X amount, so that they see the deal and be like, oh, that's a good deal. We'll stop Random House from their order for a month and print
Right.
your things. So you need to make the case of why they should change their business to support you at a discounted price. They will charge you like, yep,
Mhm.
it's $8 per copy and you need to order at least 100. That's the deal on the table because you're not bringing me enough business to make it worth my while to stop presses unless you
Right.
pay me the money to make up the difference. Um, and it's rough. Like, you have to make the decision of what makes sense for you and
Mhm.
what you think you can afford. Like, if you're going to run your own business, if you're going to go to cons and have product at your own store, then you're probably going to want to place a bulk order and figure out where you're storing it. You're going to figure out how you're going to get it there, because
Yeah.
unless you're driving to those cons, you have to ship it to those cons. You have to, like, there's so many pieces of, I have a book and I need to sell it. How are you getting
Right.
to people? How are you getting to places where you're selling it? Are you dragging it yourself? Are you willing to drag two
Everything
boxes
back. Yeah.
full of heavy
Yeah.
books and then bring them back if they don't sell? Like, what are you going to do? Like, the ugly part that people don't want to think about is the business part, because the business part stinks. It's not fun,
Right.
but it is a thing you have to deal with unless you get in partnership with somebody who is like, I'll handle the business, you be the creative. But when you enter that relationship, understand what you might be giving up
Mhm.
for that ease.
Right.
There's always something, like, it's a mutual relationship. You can't get everything you want. They do
Right.
want
Right.
something. And if you're working with a distributor or another company, they're going to keep most of the profit and pay you only a small percentage of
Mhm. Mhm.
the whole.
Hmm.
Like, you're
That
not
sounds
going to get
horrible.
you're not going to get 50%. They're not going to go 50-50 on you, because
Right.
they are
Right.
upfronting a lot of cost and risk. So they are going to be like, you get 4% and we keep 96% of it because we paid for everything and stored it and did all the
Mhm.
work. We'll pay you a percentage of it because you did the one part of it, and now we have to
Right.
do everything else. So just understand, when you're entering into these businesses and these contracts, what you want, what you're giving up, what is acceptable to you, and what level of profit you want. Like, Do you want to do it all on your own? Do you want to be every day putting up ads, every day reaching out to stores, every day trying to make deals? Is that the life you want, or do you just want to write a game and have it out
Right.
there?
And
Yeah.
Make
someone
your
sends you a
decision.
check.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
just put up on Drive Through RPG, and if somebody wants to buy a physical copy, they do the print on demand, and you
Yeah.
just get your check from them at the end. Like
I love that.
there's pros and cons to everything. You just need to understand
Mm,
what do you want and what is acceptable. Like this is not game design is not my day job. I have a day job that pays me well. I live a great life. All the rest of this, I went into going, I want to make games for people to play. I just want it out there. I don't care if I make a lot of money on it. I
right.
don't want
Right.
to make enough money that it screws up my taxes. That was like my one thing. I'm like, I don't want to have it be a tax nightmare. I just want people to play my game and have my thing out there. And I made
Right.
decisions based off of that goal in mind.
Okay. Okay. So I know there's a third part to this as we come closer to the end. So I don't know what that is.
So the third part usually is that we have questions that come in from the tavern. Uh, I hadn't seen any of them yet, but that just leaves more time for me and Sam to ask questions.
Yeah,
Right?
pretty much. Well, I
Um,
do have this one question about future
okay.
trends because um as you like you have continued success with Glitter Heart with the new game coming out, what emergent trends or innovations do you see shaping the future of your TTRPG?
Of mine?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't write until I have a good idea of what I want to write.
Okay.
Um I've been working noodling in the background on sort of isekai version of a role playing game where you are yourselves so that table talk is actually a part of the game.
Mhm.
Like you can talk about modern things because you came from a modern world and you're inhabiting avatars or whatever in a fantasy world. So it's rightful that you be like, oh, I'm going to send them a text message, but we don't have cell phones here. Well, do we come up? We know how cell phones work. Do we decide to change society and build this
Oh
technology?
my
Like,
gosh,
there's a
this
lot.
plays into my world.
Like, there's a lot of
Oh no.
there's a
Yeah,
lot of really interesting ideas there. I just don't really know what that looks like in a practical game yet. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I like the idea of that, but that also can just be overlaid to any fantasy system right now. Like you can play Dungeons and Dragons that way. So I don't have a great idea of what I want that to be. So I'm just noodling on it in the background. Most of this year and last year was really just trying to get Doma Sky Tamers done and out the door, and settled. And then once that's done, I'll probably work on the next region setting for Doma Sky Tamers while I noodle on any other games that I want. A lot of people ask me, like, is there going to be a Glitter Hearts 2? No, there is not.
That's
Um,
rude.
I've said everything that I want to say in that game. I don't really have anything more that I want to say in that system. I think it does
I've
everything that I
heard.
want to do. So I think it's great. I can't think of anything